All right, we're back on the Jeep today.
Something up there to protect that new top. Maybe.
Close enough. So we're gonna see if we can get some fenders pulled today and see what kind of nightmare we run into rust-wise. This may be the deciding factor of whether we keep going or we've got a parts Jeep with a new top on it. But it'll keep it dry inside, so that's all good. So I guess we'll get after it, see what we can break, and hopefully no injuries on my part. Let's get to it. Well, be forewarned if you do this yourself, this trim is riveted on the fender, so, which I did not know. Ta-da! Well, this was better than I expected and worse than I expected, I guess. Frame itself's pretty crusty. But again, I don't see any bends or anything. I don't see anything to indicate that it's been damaged in an accident. Now the worst part, this isn't too bad. Those are just clip-ons. I figured those were weld-ons, but the one broken was spinning on me. I had to cut it off, so that wasn't terrible. These are all spinning up here, which made it a pain because I couldn't get this plate off. If I could have got this plate off, then I could have gone in, well, maybe, and pulled this out of the way, and then that fender would have come out of there easier. Now, as it turns out, I actually had to pull this trim. I thought this was separate, and I mean it is. It's not attached underneath anywhere, but it's not just floating up here. This rail that it clips on had a rivet through that front fender that I had to get off, and that was really fighting me because I couldn't quite figure out what was holding. And one of the bolts coming in from the bottom came out, and the other one I had to cut it. This back one, kind of near where the body's all rusted out. So, onwards and upwards, I guess. We broke another bolt here. We're gonna have to fix that. But otherwise, it really came out better than I had anticipated. I was a little worried at the amount of rust on everything else. But, I guess. Oh yeah, the fender will come off all right because those are all just plastic inserts for the screws to drive into, so that won't be bad at all. Now those might be a little trickier because those are those are nutserts. So those might be kind of a pain. But overall, considering the shape of it, I'm not too mad at it. Oh, you can see their fix underneath with the foil tape, I'm guessing. So, all right. That's enough yakking. Get this thing stripped down and then we'll get to the other side. See if we can get it pulled apart.
we got a little bit farther along. This side was slightly better. Got all of these bolts out this side, and I think I only had one break over here, which is the same one that broke on the other side. But yeah, even the battery tray wasn't too bad. I figured it was going to be in terrible shape, but it's not awful. Again, the frame looks pretty decent. I'm surprised. Now this front, I guess I haven't, is still up. So I'm going to tear into the front of this thing and see why that's still up. Because that thing's, it's teetering on something. Oh, there must be a mount in the middle. I am going to pull this off and see what's under this cover, because there's got to be some sort of mount here. And I'm going to pull this front bumper off. I need to put another bumper on it. We've got that aftermarket thing, so I can mount a winch on it. Be a little handier. But yeah, it went good as could be expected, I guess. So we'll tear into this front piece and see just what's going on and why this thing's up in the air. Hey, remember when I put the torch on that? That's hot. We're gonna try this a little differently on the next one. Try not to put my hand there. I'm not much closer to solving the riddle of why this thing's poked up in the front, but I did find a fun new brake line that they stuck in there, which is not the greatest thing. It apparently they're just kind of stabbing it and running it through wherever, which, you know, I do that too, but I might have moved it away from a few other things, because it was rubbing real hard on this other brake line that they have stuck in that's aftermarket too, or, you know, not original. So the OEM stuff's kind of crusty. So I think next up, might go ahead and run new brake lines
while we've got it open.
And also see why that bolt for the steering isn't seated all the way down. There's a big gap under there, which doesn't look quite right to me. So I don't know, maybe there's more to this story or this thing than I was led to believe, but yeah, I don't know. The bolt hole did come out at least. It's a little crusty up here, but it's not, I've seen worse, I guess, is what it comes down to. I did sneak back here just because it was annoying me and get this gate to open a little better. It was pretty tight. And I've had these do this before. I never have had to put heat to them. Usually a little bit of lubricant and working them back and forth, and they're not too bad. But this one was just tight through its whole range, and now it's it's better, way better. And it's still tight. It's not, there's no slop in it. And I don't know if those things have got like a plastic insert in them or not. I didn't see anything really bubbling out too bad. There was a little bit on this end, but I don't know if there's, I don't know what's internal on them. I never have had them apart before, but I think it's going to be okay. It seems to be pretty functional. So I kept having to get in and out of here to get this other bumper out, and that was starting to get on my nerves. Speaking of the other bumper, I've got to mount this hitch too. This is I picked this hitch up, I don't know, a year or so ago. It's one of those that you can release and it'll float in and out, so hooking them up by yourself is way, way easier. But this thing will work pretty good on the back of the camper or the pickup or whatever. So we need to make some sort of mounts on the new bumper. Hook that thing up. Let's see. Did I look at the new bumper yet? Have we showed it? I don't think we have. All right, this way. This plate is part of the bumper that I had out back, and it looks like it's about perfect. So I don't know if this was for a TJ originally, or heck, maybe all these frames are the same. I have no idea. I know the CJ that I took it off of was an old CJ5. It was a nightmare to get unbolted. I don't remember how that was attached, but this one's going to be way easier. That clips on there or bolts on, and then this is the rest of it. And then it's got bolts that come up through the bottom, just like the factory one. And there we go. Sort of bolts on like that. Guess that's going to fall off. And it blocks the headlights too, which is really annoying. It probably won't ever matter, but it just kind of, oops, careful. It just kind of drives me nuts. Well, it's not going to be that bad, but yeah, it is. It's going to block quite a bit of it. So I don't know, maybe this is even for something newer, or maybe it's for a YJ. No idea. Oh, for the time being, we may be kind of dead in the water because it looks like we're going to get a few days of really, really cold weather. So I may have to stick around and do a little editing instead of being out here where it's tolerable, but it's not warm. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and until next time, toodaloo.